just shifting the way you think about improvement will completely change even your life if you wanted it to. And in this episode of Shotty Yap Session, that's what we're going to talk about. And if you guys are new here, this is a series where I yap about a topic and you turn me on in the background while you do something else. Or if you really want to, you can watch the mid gameplay. Let's get right into it. Now, I've talked about this in the past, but improvement is, first of all, not linear. A lot of people think, oh, well, if you just do this and then it'll take forever. It'll take years. It'll take this. It'll take that. A lot of people don't think about the fact that improving way ahead most people is pretty easy. Because if you think about it, right? How many games do you get in and there are people that just don't care? Or how many people in your life have you met that just, well, I'm just going with the flow, or I don't really care, or blah, blah, blah. Improvement's easy because these are the people that you're competing with. These are all the people that are in the bell curve, right? And everyone thinks, oh, Eternity players or Celestial players are so far ahead of me, or whatever ranked players you're talking about, when they're really not, right? Some of them only have a few hours and they're skyrocketing up the ranks because they're thinking in a certain way, or they're playing in a certain way that it makes it easy to improve. So the first thing you need to do is get rid of the idea that, oh, you have to be this good, or you have to be genetically gifted, or blah, blah, blah. There's too many people, even in working out or getting rich, oh, my IQ isn't high enough, or this isn't good enough, or my genetics suck. All of it's just a cover up for not wanting to put in the work, not wanting to figure it out, not wanting to do what you have to do. And you'll find that when you actually do it, it's a lot easier than you think. And the biggest reason why is, I think, one statistic that is funny, out of all the podcasts in the world, I think most of them don't get to like episode 3, something like that. Do you hear how crazy that is? That's who you're competing against. Oh, well, I can't make a podcast, I can't do this. Most of the people don't make it past episode 3. Isn't that insane? And you're complaining about, oh, I can't do it, or I can't beat these people. These people aren't trying, right? How many people in Marvel Rivals or anything, any game, how many people practice their aim? How many people do routines to improve? How many people get coaching? How many people do any of those things? Even just watching tons of YouTube videos like this, most people don't do it. Most people just, well, let me play the game again, and they keep dying, losing, fighting, this, that, and it's everyone else's fault. It's not their fault. It's not anything. It's they can't improve on anything. It's everyone else's fault. Or when it's not everyone else's fault, they aren't able to be critical enough of themselves to say, okay, I could have done this better, or this was what I did wrong. They almost blind themselves to the truth, or what they did wrong, or what's actually happening. And of course you're not going to improve like that. It's so easy to get stuck somewhere if you're never wrong, or if you're never doing something incorrectly or whatever. The number one thing that I always did to improve was, and a lot of people think it's harsh or whatever, and you might have heard me say it before, but everything's my fault. Now, of course it's not. But if everything isn't your fault, you have no control. If everything is your fault, you have all the control over your life, over your financials, over the video game, over everything. So let's say, okay, you don't have a job, right? Now there are two ways to do it. You could either, I don't have a job, womp womp, or you go put out 30 applications. You go do this, you go do that. You start interning somewhere so you get job experience. You do this, you do that, whatever, and then you try to make it. Maybe it still won't work, right? But doing zero action and expecting anything to happen versus doing 100 actions and nothing happening, right? At least 100 you tried. Maybe it's a 0.5% chance. So for it to happen, you needed to do 200 repetitions. You're still 100 closer than the other guy. And the same thing goes for Marvel Rivals. If your goal is eternity, actually, I gotta go hit it now, my main account, since I've been playing this month, because the gold emblem is too hot for me not to go get it. I gotta go get that stuff. So I'll be playing this season again. But let's say for Marvel Rivals, you go into a game, you don't know how to flex at all. You don't know any other characters. You don't even know how to play your character that well. Of course, you're going to get beaten out by the guy who is just as bad as you, but is trying to learn other stuff rather than just staying on the same character that he's mediocre at, right? You guys can both start in the same place, but one person is doing XYZ, watching YouTube videos, practicing, blah, 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 and you're doing nothing, right? And of course, you're not going to make it anywhere like that. So if you look at everything as it's your fault, like every time you die, for example, and this is what I like to do. Every time I die, I will try to say, what could I have played better? How could I have done that better? And in my head, during those few 5-10 seconds or whatever for the respawn, I say, maybe if I use my cooldown there, I could have done this, or maybe I should have positioned here. And sometimes there's nothing you can do. I was actually coaching someone just the other day, and they were queued with people. And when they were queued, they were a tank, and they were trying to push up. They're trying to make space. They're trying to do stuff. And I said, I can't even really coach this VOD because this is nothing more we could have done. We played space well. We played everything well. We took advantage. Nothing was dying, right? And it wasn't like nothing is dying because we're not taking space. They had the space. They had everything. Just nothing was dying because one of their DPS had 5 deaths and everyone else only had 1. And the other DPS, he couldn't just solo everyone because they had triple healer, and it was impossible for him. So it made it really difficult. And stuff like that, yeah, you lose sometimes, and it's nothing you can do, right? I even told them, I was like, okay, maybe you could have positioned this better or a little ult usage here. But honestly, this is one of those rigged matches. And it did feel like that, you know, because it's like, wow, feeling completely helpless in a game like that's a pain. But you'll feel helpless in everything. Feel helpless in life, working out, whatever. But you have to do with what you got. Right? I actually met someone who, even if you have terrible genetics, even if you're not gifted, even if you don't have the 20 years of experience in an FPS game, doesn't matter, right? Because all the people that are starting the same place you are, that's maybe, let's say I have 16 years of experience in FPS games. I was at some point exactly where you are. Yeah, I was younger, maybe. Some of you guys might be really young, but yeah, I was younger, but it didn't matter. Right? I still did the best I could. And even when I was a kid, I was still above average compared to most people because I was the guy who was watching 30 YouTube videos. Every chance I got, I was learning something. Then I was practicing. Then when my friends weren't up, I'd do solo play games. And I'd practice. I'd buy control freaks for my Xbox controller, stick them on so I could play better. And I was doing everything I could. Then I begged for months, Dad, please, I need a scuff controller, Dad. I don't even know if there's still scuffs out now. I don't know. They used to be scuff controls when I was younger, the controls with the paddles. But I begged for months, please, Dad, I need it, till I got it. Then I had to sit there and practice with it for weeks because I was bad at clicking the buttons and using it when I needed it. I even learned how to do claw grip, which if you don't know, what is it? Claw grip? What is it? Crab? Whatever. I can't remember what it's called. Am I that old? You basically put your index finger on top of the buttons and use your thumb to aim with the right stick so you can use your abilities and your aim at the same time. That was before I had a scuff controller. But all of that is what I was doing. Do you think little Timmy, who's, let's say, Diamond, is doing that? Probably not. He just has 10,000 games played. But I can do that same thing in a fraction of the time because I spent that time practicing, right? And even if I did just play games to improve, I probably could have done it faster if I was actually thinking while I played. I actually had a friend. He was in Rainbow Six Siege. He was like 3 ranks off the highest. But he had like 8,000 hours in the game. That's an exaggeration. Probably like 5,000, right? Maybe more. I don't know. But he was bad. Like objectively bad. Especially for someone with that much time. He eat, sleep, and breathed the game. But every time he played with no intention. He just played to play, right? And I would be able to get on the game with sub 1,000 hours and completely crush him and his rank in a fraction of the time, not because of my other game experience, but I would have my first 40 games where I was garbage, 0 kills, 3 kills, whatever. Then I'll have the clips where now I'm 15 kills a game, 30 kills a game. I think the highest I ever got was 34, but stuff like that only happens after you suck for a while. Anyways, we're going to call this the middle of the yap session. And if you guys are new here, this is the part of the video where I yap to the audience. Just want to talk to you guys a little bit because I feel like hell. I'm sick, but life is good. Besides that, I wanted to make a video for you guys since I haven't put one out in like 3 days now, 4 days, and I want to get back to my old schedule. But I want to tell you guys thank you so much for 31,000 subscribers. Love you guys so much. Videos have been going pretty hard lately, especially since I don't think some of them were that crazy good. Funny enough, the ones I think are better are the ones who perform worse. But that's the life of YouTube. If you guys want to help this video go viral, leave a comment. It helps the YouTube algorithm. Leave comments if you enjoy the video, like it, whatever, or subscribe. And if you guys don't enjoy the video, tell me how I can improve it next time. Oh, by the way, please leave me video suggestions besides like character guides, because I don't have time to do character guides, since if you guys don't know, the living situation, moving, blah, blah, blah. I mention it in all my Yap sessions. If you're not new here, you'll know. And if you are new here, I have to move from where I live because my grandmother passed away. I used to live with her. That's the TLDR of it. So I don't have as much time to make videos. Anyways, I love you guys. Let's get back to the Yap session. If you want to improve, look at stuff as it's you. If you look at it as it's all you, it'll be much easier just because you can't control your randoms. You can't control your friends, really. And you can never expect that people will take the game as seriously as you do. So don't expect anything. There are no handouts. There is nothing for you in life, in video games, ever. And anything you get is a bonus. And if you start looking at stuff like that, life's going to feel a lot better because it's all in your control. Some people feel helpless in life. And I guess that's why some people comment on my videos, oh, you should be a motivational speaker. Or if you don't notice, you sometimes are. And I think part of the reason why I do that, or I'm able to do that, is because life is rough. You know, life is hard. And I've dealt with it quite a bit. And most of it I dealt with was silently dealing with it, right? And because of that, I had to learn, how do I deal with this? What's going on in my head? Why do I feel this way? And how do I sort it out? And that thought process led me to basically think of the best ways to live without wanting to jump off the map. You know what I mean? And I know what it's like to feel helpless. It feels like everything crumbles around you and you have no control. But I think accepting that you don't have control is how you get control, if that makes sense. Like I just said, you don't have control of your teammates. Your teammates aren't going to practice whatever, except that you don't have control of that and control what you do control, which is yourself, right? So same way I can go in the same match as somebody else and one person gets tilted and I'm calm and cool, you can control that feeling that you get. Maybe it's hard at first, like learning to control your anger for the first time, you know? It's difficult, but learning to control that is how you take back control of your whole life, video games, whatever. Anyways, this turned into a life rant, which honestly, I wouldn't mind turning my channel into that. But I love you guys. Hope you enjoyed. And if you want to get my coaching, check out the link in the description. And if you want to check out another Yap session, check out this video right here. Have a good one, everyone. God bless you.